Wow, just don't do this to me, Superman and Lois. This is crazy. We're just gonna jump right in. Hi, I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing Superman and Lois episode 15. This will have spoilers in it because I don't really know how to do it without spoilers, but there is so much that happens in this episode. It's absolutely crazy. The first 15 minutes of this episode is filled with so much emotion and desperation just to find Jordan. Now, Lois practically begs Superman to keep looking for him. And we even get to see how this really affects Irons a lot, too. You know, like, he really has this look on him like, holy cow, I just lost somebody else, just like he did with his daughter, Natalie. Uh, Now, to go back, we saw in the last episode that the Eradicator took Jordan and placed Zeta-Ro's mind into him. And they're going forward with their plans, basically. So this was actually a really good ploy on their part to do this. But then we see Leslie, talk to Irons and tell him something, which I thought was really kind of interesting to say. And then Lois confronts her, and Leslie just throws everything in her face, like literally everything, especially about Jordan. And, she taunts her about Jordan and says, the greatest reportive journalist in the world can't figure out what happened to him. She's literally just throwing it all in her face. And then she says another good line. So I was like, dang, I'm like, this girl doesn't care, I was like, wow, this is great. And when we do cut back to Zeta-ro finally confronting Superman, we see that he at first lets Jordan talk. And then he comes out and says, I'm dedicated. I'm not going to let our people die. So we really get to see just how far he's willing to go to resurrect the Kryptonian people. And we get a good fight scene out of this at like a volcano. So I thought it was actually really cool looking. Everything in this season has built to into an incredible emotional moments, like between Lois and Jordan as she enters his mind to try to save him. So we do get to find out, once Jordan gets knocked out, that they still have the device that Edge used to figure out Superman's secret. And they put it on Jordan, and she goes in to get him out, to find Jordan. And she does, and there's this really emotional scene and moment with this where she has to tell him something that really hits home, to Jordan and stuff, where he realizes that, maybe he's not what Zeta-ro has been telling him to keep him, keep him down. And this was very good. I mean, this whole episode was nothing but emotions. And we even get to see John Henry's memories of his daughter as he's falling out of orbit, too. So we really get to see more about that. And again, this is all emotional. Now turning to Jonathan, I really feel like they finally gave him a break. Like, legitimately, I feel like they gave him a break finally. Everything he has went through built up to him finally getting to step up and help out. Now, he's done it a little bit in other previous episodes, but this one, he finally gets to actually help out. Everybody gives him a chance, including Irons, who tells him to come and help him get the hammer ready, and do a couple other things. So we really get to see that he's finally getting to step up, and hopefully he probably will end up being a part of the superhero team. Because even Lois is a part of it in some way. So I thought this was really, really good. This episode for Jonathan, I thought was fantastic where he gets to step up. I do, however, wonder if he actually does have some latent Kryptonian powers because every time we turn around, in this episode, he broke his right arm again. It was all hurt, and then all of a sudden, from one scene he's got it in a sling. Next scene, it's out. He's able to hold a gun, and do other stuff. So I'm wondering if he can at least he has the ability of fast healing, like his father. So I'm just wondering if there is a little more to him than we get to see, because I believe in the very first episode, the montage we get to see of the kids growing up, Jonathan is the blonde-haired little boy who throws the football at a tire swing, and he actually hits the rope and breaks it. So I don't know if the rope was just old or if he had some kind of, if he had a little bit more strength back then. But I'm just wondering if they're going to do something with him at some point too, other than just having Jordan, because again, they're twins. They should really have similar abilities. But I think it's kind of interesting that they either aren't showing time progression properly in this, or they're just forgetting about it maybe and just getting him out of the sling so he can help out and do some stuff. I think it's really interesting in that, so we can interpret it kind of in multiple ways. But we end up getting to see the town of Smallville end up kind of getting destroyed a little bit. Some of the buildings blow up, things like that. And we end up getting to see them get back out, like Smallville gets back on its feet, and everyone comes together to rebuild. Everyone like forgives each other and just really helps out and gets back to being a community, because it is kind of a small town, and they really need to work together. And we see that the Lana and Kyle, everybody starts talking to them again, and they're all nice and friendly. Even the mayor looks like he feels bad about what he did to Lana and them. And we really get to see them step up and stay to help Smallville, because it is their hometown. It is the place that they've lived for years. So I really actually liked that part of this as well. Now, this episode was an emotional roller coaster. We get more of the Eradicator's powers in this as well shown, but we also get the raw emotion with this. And we get to see something that has been building up since episode 1. All this emotion has finally come together into one episode, and it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. From start to finish, it just kept building up and getting better. The effects in this were really good. Again, more of the Eradicator's powers come out. We get to see a lot more, some more Kryptonians, things like that. We even get a good fight scene with Jordan and Superman at a volcano, like I said before. So we really get to see some really good stuff here. But what really blew me away in this was the acting. The acting was so great in this episode. Everyone, I think, really stepped up in this episode, and they were so believable. Elizabeth Tulich and Tyler Hoechlin feel like they are like a real married couple, more so in this episode than in any other one. And have kids, because they're so worried about their one son, but they're also worried about their other son getting involved too and getting hurt, And they're just so believable. And everybody really just stepping up and coming together. Even General Lane, he was more believable in this episode than in the other ones, I feel like. This was such a great episode for the acting. It was just so awesome to watch. So this was one of the best season finales I have seen in a long time. This episode, built right up. and it just kept going and going and getting better, including the end. Yes, and the end, the cliffhanger in this episode, I couldn't do it. I couldn't handle the cliffhanger. It was so awesome. It just blew my mind. I was like, what's just happened here? Oh, it was great. I could not handle that. You know, this episode was the culmination of all of the emotional stuff that was going on throughout the entire season. We get to see Clark take Jor-El's crystal home with him from the Cave of Solitude. We lovingly call it the Cave of Solitude because it's actually just a cave. It's not a fortress. And we get a really good line, a really great line, I should say, from Edge at the end as well, when he's talking to Kal-El. And this whole episode was phenomenal. This was such a great season. It's unfortunate that we had to do a 2-month hiatus and a week here and there, a week or two here and there in between episodes as well, because that actually hurt the ratings for this show. They started out at 1.7 million, I believe, and then it dropped down to 0.622. So really, because of all this, I don't know why they would have done it, because this is such a good series, and this was such a good season. I mean, I honestly would give this episode a 9.5 alone out of 10. This was a phenomenal ending to the season. The season overall, I would honestly give it a 8.5, 9 out of 10. Easily. There were some episodes that weren't as good as the other episodes, but they were only a few of them, maybe 2 to 3. I particularly liked pretty much every episode. Again, there were some episodes that I had some issues with, especially with Jonathan not getting breaks, and just kept, they kept just crapping all over him basically and stuff. But I think it culminated into an amazing season finale. So leave a comment down below, too. Let me know what you thought about this episode and about the season. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.